Okay, Kerry Knoll back with you again, and this is going to be showing you how to set up your cold email template to send out. Now I'm using WoodPecker. I'm logged in my WoodPecker account. I'm going to click on Add Campaign, and now once I click on Add Campaign, I have the option of naming the campaign. You can name it, the date. You could name it the niche, whatever it might be. So I might do a combination of the two. So if this was for today, I might do, the date here as, whatever it might be, right? So it could be that, and then it would be restaurants. And then maybe it's restaurants, Las Vegas. And then we're going to choose our send from, and I'm going to click on my email account. Now with WoodPecker, it's $40 per month for one email account. It's maybe not one of the most reasonable, but I definitely think it's one of the best services out there. There are other cheaper alternatives. So you may want to shop around for something cheaper, and that's totally up to you. And then you have email number one, opening. So we have our subject. So if we go over to the emails I've given you in the cold sequence, we're just going to copy over our subject. And I always like to start with just something super simple, quick question. And then we're going to go back over to our email. We're going to copy our email and paste it into the body here. So in hello, type in, we're just going to replace that. And then where I say things like we have extra spacing in here, it's fine, just remove some of it. And oops. And then you could just sign off with your name, right? It could be personal, first name, last name. You could put your business name underneath of it. Whatever you want to do. And then where I've got here, replace from cold email service with variable for name. So what we would do here is we just copy this, highlight it, and just delete it. And then if we wanted to put in their first name, we would just put in first name, and that's the variable for WoodPecker. Okay, so each service provider is going to have their own variables and their own code for their variables. That's why I didn't include these in the actual email templates. And then I just came across, and then replace with cold email, replace from cold email service with variable for company name. All right, so we could have the company name there, and so we would do that as well. So we'll just remove that and click on company. And I really love what you guys have going on. I have a quick question. Would you be interested in promoting special offers you have to people in the surrounding neighborhoods with upcoming birthdays over the next 7 days? I have a very special online advertising strategy which is extremely effective at promoting an offer to people within a 5-mile radius of your restaurant who are going to be celebrating a birthday in the next week. Next week alone, your offer could be in front of thousands and more likely, and likely more, of people celebrating a birthday who rarely dine alone. Okay? Could you please direct me to the person who is in charge so that I may send some additional details about this incredible opportunity? Talk soon. Your name, your business. All right? And then what I would do is I would send this to no more than 50 prospects per day. And, you could choose times and all that, but I'd just leave it open for all the days of the week and the times. I don't think I would mess around with any of that. And then you would hit send test email to send it to yourself to make sure it looks nice and comes through correctly. And that's how we would put in the first email. Now we can add a second email. And so it's going to send no sooner than after 3 days unless prospect replies to previous email. Okay, so that means it will not send it to them if they've replied to the previous email, which is excellent because that's what we want. Now you can change this 3 to 2, which is what I suggest, because in here I say 2 days after initial email, let's send this email. Okay, and we change the subject line slightly. So it's already put it in here with the RE quick question, which is great. We don't have to actually paste that in there. And then we're going to basically send the same exact email. So if the other one's already formatted correctly, what I would do is I would copy it from within here and paste it in here. And then what I've done differently is I've added in this little bit of extra stuff in between, which is, I know you're probably extremely busy, or perhaps your inbox is flooded with email like mine, so I just wanted to bump this email up to the top. In case you missed my first email, I included it again below for your convenience, and then begin previous email. So I'm just going to add that in between right here. So in between the first name and the first paragraph, and then I'm just going to format that a little bit by removing a little extra space. That's it for email number 2. Okay. And then what we do is we want to add in email number 3. And so email number 3 is our final email, and send 2 days after second email. And then we just have change the subject line to birthday celebrations. And so I'm just going to highlight that subject and change it. And then we're going to grab that email. And essentially it's very short and to the point. It's just asking them a one-line question. And so we're going to replace, of course, again, the name here. So we're going to delete that. And we're going to add in our first name. And then we're just going to close off with our signature, talk soon, and our name and our business, perhaps. Something like that, okay? And then when we're done, we're going to click on Add Prospects, and we're going to upload our leads, and then we're going to map our actual fields, right, from the actual CSV file of leads I have and I've given you to what a WoodPecker understands. All right, so it makes sense. And then you would just hit send, or you could start scheduling it. So let me grab the leads real quick, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I am going to import my leads, right? So we're going to import from a CSV file. So what we're going to do is we're just going to browse our computer, and I'm going to grab those. All right, as you can see here, we've matched your data with the fields in WoodPecker, or they're attempting to, and there's 1,321 prospects identified. So it says use the table below to match your imported data with the corresponding fields in WoodPecker. Don't forget to preview a few contexts to make sure you link the fields correctly, all right? So in our data, we have a name field. Well, this name field is actually the business name or the company name, and so we want to match it to company, all right? And then we don't actually have any individual names in the data I've collected, and therefore we're not actually going to be able to match up what their name actually is, the business owner itself. So that's okay, not a big deal. We're just going to have a fallback for that name tag within our emails, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. But you can see everything else is mapped, and we don't really need any of this other information. The ones that we need to focus on is company name, the phone number, the email address, and that's really all we need to worry about. Everything else is just added data that we can add in if we wanted to at some point or another. So that's all you have to do. You can ignore the first row when importing if the first row is got like some kind of labeling like first name, last name, email address, etc. So we'll go ahead and we'll check off that box because our spreadsheet does have that, or our CSV file. And then we just click, if you're sure your data has been properly matched up with WoodPecker fields, click import, and the contact base will be imported into your WoodPecker account ready to use. So we're going to click on import, and it's going to go through this importing progress, and it goes fairly fast even with this many records. I mean, this was 1,321 records, and it's already 100% done. So that's pretty awesome. Of course, it did only import 548 because it needed to find ones that made sense, and there was 704 errors in this particular file with 68 duplicates. So we have 548 properly imported prospects will be added to our campaign for our date restaurants in Las Vegas. And then what we do is we can preview, right? And we can see first name has nothing, and that's what one of the problems is. But it says I just came across Carson Kitchen, so that was one of the companies or the first one in there. And we can look at some of the others. We can look at the follow-up email. We can see how that looks. We can see how email 3 ends up looking, which is great, and it includes all the previous emails, which is pretty cool. And then we can go ahead and we can click next, and we can look at the next one to see, okay, which one across other mama. And so that's another business, all right. And if we're happy and this is just a preview, we can X out of it. Okay. Now you can send a test email if you want to do, just double check how things are working, or we can just go ahead and hit add. All right. Let's just click add. So we're done with that. It's going to bring us back to our campaign. And it's going to show us all the potential email addresses in there and what our schedule looked like and all of our follow-up emails. All right. And then if we're happy with everything we see here, we can go ahead and hit send. And it's going to send these emails out on our scheduling at no more than 50 per day right now, because that's what we have it set for, to 548 prospects. And that's just one city of restaurants. Okay. So you can see it can be very powerful, very quick, and save you a bunch of time. And yeah, it's going to cost a little bit of money, but I'm telling you right now, it's well worth it. All right, that's all I have for you in this particular training video. With that being said, I'm going to cut this video off, and I'll speak with you in the next one.